Peter Obi has done it again. You know, Senator, when Peter Obi open mouth to speak, it always cause problem for Tinubu's administration. Peter Obi recently give an interview to Channels TV. In fact, that interview was conducted by Sean. Sean, that is his name. And this headline, look at the screen right now. You can see, he said, Tinubu is tired. Should be allowed to retire in peace, says Peter Obi. Former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has called on President Bola Tinubu to step aside ahead of 2027 elections, saying the president is tired and no longer has a capacity to tackle Nigerian mounting economic and security challenges. That is not the only case. So now, going down, you see, because there are so many things that Peter Obi said on that particular interview. And the next headline, you can see, I will unite Nigeria. I know what it takes. Peter Obi, former Labour Party, I will unite Nigeria. I know what it takes. That is number 2. Now, going down to the next number 3 headline. This is what Peter Obi also said here. I will unite Nigeria. Okay, that's number 2. And you look at say the presidential candidate of what? Nigerian Democratic Congress, Peter Obi says he is not desperate to see. He is desperate, to see a better Nigeria, but not desperate to be the president of Nigeria. Now, the next one, going down, say that is what? Renewed hopelessness. Obi criticizes a renewed hope agenda. That's number 2 headline. And I'll be taking care of. I will breaking down all of this headline from beginning to the end. The presidential candidate of Nigerian Democratic Congress, Peter Obi, has dismissed claim that he would divide Nigeria if elected president of Nigeria, insisting instead that he possesses the experience and leadership to unite the country. Now, going down more and more, in fact, because this interview, it went for hours. The presidential candidate of Nigerian Democratic Congress, Peter Obi, says, which he was in channel television. That is the one part of the headline. And look at it here. I left $150 million. Can any governor come out to say he saved 15 million in treasury account? This is a challenge to governor. Now let's start from this headline because we want to break it down. You know, in Nigeria, every state governors, every single leader in Nigeria complain how poor Nigeria be, how things are not working so well. But under Peter Obi, the only governor will be saying Nigeria don't rule this country. At least boast of what? Leaving something behind instead of leaving debt. He left what? Money enough. And there are people to testify. Even the current governor of Abia State, Alex Oti today, will testify because he was a chairman of one of the banks.
There's nothing called tax haven. I opened an account while I lived in the UK and start saving for what I call family estate. If you go there every year, maybe this year because I don't have an income, I save a portion of my income. Then when I was governor, I saved for Anambra State. So as an individual, I'm saving for my family. That's the culture we should build, but I should be encouraged. There is nothing. You see, we go into things that are not this thing. If some people have said, oh, maybe it shows you're corrupt, or maybe working at your Congo, any other person will say, no thief sees what they can steal and leave it. That's why even when you go to church, they say, mind your phone. Not because those people didn't come to church, but because they have the temptation that if they see what they can steal, they steal it.
But it's a code of conduct issue, Mr. Obi.
No,
what was released in the Pandora paper that you did not disclose it?
No, it was clearly declared.
When you were governor?
No, the code of conduct did not say that if you own a house in the UK.
Offshore assets?
No, I said, let me tell you now. It didn't show that if you own a house in the UK, you should sell it immediately you became governor. It's not true. Let me tell you, I listed my assets overseas. It will shock you. Code of conduct actually said they will go and investigate it. And they went and saw it. So leave that. You see, everybody wants to investigate Peter Obi. She was left $150 million. Can any other person who finished here come and say where he left Nobody asked me to save in dollars.
But why is it that your successors never appreciated it?
No. Do we appreciate the honest in Nigeria? Do we appreciate what is?
Now, no, why those his predecessors not appreciated P2B is one thing. Imagine you coming to hype your somebody, as in you a predecessor, person that just left office before you. You come out, they hype the person saying leave a $150 million for account. Then after you come out, you can't borrow, you can't even push the state into debt. Is that possible? Because he had the question when he asked, why is predecessors not the hype am? They know if you hype am because one, if you hype P2B finish and you can't go borrow, spend your own money where P2B keep and borrow. Tell me now, you know, say in reality, indirectly, you are letting the people know that you are incompetent and you are a thief. That is why you notice P2B predecessors, none of them acknowledged that P2B did work. They didn't acknowledge that he left money. Because who is his predecessor? That should be what? Governor Obiano. How do you expect Governor Obiano to acknowledge that P2B left a huge amount of money in Anambra State? And coming out tomorrow to tell you that the country, that there's no money in the state. It's not possible. You can't do that. That's exactly what happened. And they are boasted about it. In the whole state, this is an individual challenging the whole Nigeria that if you say you are a former governor in any state in Nigeria, and you say you don't do office before and you left the state without debt, not even leaving money. Let's say you don't even leave any money, but at least the state no inside debt come out. No governor in this country can boast of that, except what? P2B. Now look at the next headline here. Look at what he said in the next one. Sean say, okay, this is Sean asking him a question. Where politicians come on my program and keep mentioning your name, how does that word make you feel? Now you see what P2B answered him. P2B said, this is answer. Calling my names doesn't make me feel anything. They are abandoning the issues we are supposed to discuss and discussing what I think is irrelevant instead of discussing the problem of what the country. People come before you and discuss what P2B. Hear him speak live.
Well, are there things that you have done in the past that you regret about the optics and how you were profiled, and you thought that maybe it's something that you need to change, that you have done wrongly to make you look like you are ethnic jingoist?
That's what I'm saying. This is the what they do. Instead of us discussing the problem of the country, people come before you to discuss P2B. That's not the issue. World Bank has just said that 79% of Nigerians are going to face poverty. In a country of 230.
Now, it's never about even coming to Channel TV to discuss it. Before P2B, I will play the video. I will allow the video to play finish here. But you see, you notice all my video, I keep on saying, even Nigerian commentators, as a media commentators, they go leave all this in a gossip. And it's so terrible. It's very, very bad in Nigeria. You go say people leave the economic challenges of Nigeria. As in, things discussing about giving opinions on how the country should go forward. They're not going to discuss all these things. You see them discussing gossip, even on the interviews. When they're supposed to be discussing things that are irrelevant, things that are supposed to move the country forward. No, it is only about what? P2B every single time. Distracting the country.
Million people, that's over 80 million. That should be the issue we should be discussing.
When they are mentioning,
they should be talking about issue of out of school children, talking about the issue of health, and all these monies that are missing here and there that would have invested.
Now you get the point now. And that is the fact. Imagine on my video that I've said this over and over. I've called on this. Why Nigeria? If especially commentators, not even all these politicians that come for these interviews. Commentators, people that doesn't come online, discuss, they call it content. I said it before, you feel still they make money from your content, shouting every day, but be offering opinion, reminding the government the reality, not allowing the government to divert our attentions every single time. Because you notice, we're going to discuss what they will bring on one thing, and all the attentions of Nigerians will move out. You see Nigerian media comment, instead of focusing of amplifying, as in trying to interpret and tell the government, these are the things we are saying, and this is what it means. These are the problems you are. If we keep on hammering those things on in their front, I'm telling you, they don't have choice but to attend to our needs. But in Nigeria, yeah, nobody, everyone is what distracted. Because we go leave what the most important thing and be discussing things that are irrelevant. And that is what Peter Obi is calling out on this episode. Now, going to the next one. This is what he said. Like I said earlier, he said, I am not desperate to become president of Nigeria. I am desperate to see Nigeria work. If it is working, I will support whatever makes it work, says NDC presidential candidate Peter Obi. Hear him.
Feeling, and I'm not sure you've said this. If you've said it, maybe you can clarify that Peter Obi's wanting to change Nigeria, because that seems to be your mantra. Peter Obi wanting to fix Nigeria, and as such, that if that doesn't happen by being the president of Nigeria in 2027, you're done. Is that the idea?
Well, that's not the idea. I do this, but I've always said I'm not desperate to be Nigerian president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. So if it's working, I'll support whatever makes it work. I want to see a country where, keep saying it every day, a child of nobody can be somebody.
Now, that is the kind of country, this is how politicians should be sounding in Nigeria. Is it? You keep on saying it's not desperate, and that's the reality. Because if you are desperate, let me tell you, if you are running an office and you are desperate to be in that office, you will lose your humanity. Because you notice say people, when you go hear Peter Obi, every time you go to let people know, say, he's not desperate to be the president of Nigeria. Is what a president of human being with conscience. Because when you are desperate to be president of Nigeria, desperate to be a leader, to achieve any position, let me tell you, one thing is that you know go feel what. Even if you say manage, achieve being in that position. Before you go even get there, you don't lose your humanity finish. Before you go even get there, you go don't even lose all your, as in the legit plan, the actual first plan where you say you get, in order to even fix that problem. Even in business also, you will pursue your business with carefulness. You pursue everything in life with carefulness, because when you are desperate in order to make each of those things work, you will find yourself dipping your hand into things where you say you don't want to before. You find yourself committing the kind of crime where you say on normal day you no go commit those things. And Peter Obi will understand these things.
Feeling, and I'm not sure you.
When he's saying that he's not desperate, and that is the reality. If he's desperate, then he go find himself with APC and he go win. But the funny part is that if he win as a president of Nigeria under the APC, Peter Obi no go fit do anything. You know, there's so many governors, so many leaders in Nigeria, both House of Assembly members, the state and the federal level. The president where they produce Nigeria, you see, most of them they were so desperate. Where we say if they put them, because from godfatherism, cutting this, making sure they give allocation, ministerial appointments to individuals where help fund their campaign. And also from appointment, giving appointment to those people who say godfathers and recommend. At the end of everything, you can't do anything. Take example of what happened in Rivers State. You see what happened? People are saying what happened in Rivers State between Wike and Fubara. They say Monday this, Monday the other one. You check the video when I did. I said, look, leave this man that was jumping up and down. My Monday, people vote. Nobody voted for you. You know as he enter office. So don't come out tomorrow and begin to jump up and down. And that is what you're playing out in Nigeria. When this man is trying to tell you that, look, it's not desperate. And that is a reality. But when you're desperate to be in a position, you will lose your humanity. Now, hear Peter Obi speak.
Clarify that Peter Obi's wanting to change Nigeria, because feeling, and I'm not sure you've said this. If you've said it, maybe you can clarify that Peter Obi's wanting to change Nigeria, because that seems to be your mantra. Peter Obi wanting to fix Nigeria, and as such, that if that doesn't happen by being the president of Nigeria in 2027, you're done. Is that the idea?
Well, that's not the idea. I do this, but I've always said I'm not desperate to be Nigerian president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. So if it's working, I will support whatever makes it work. I want to see a country where, keep saying it every day, a child of nobody can be somebody.
Now, like we are saying, Nigeria is not working, and everyone knows that. It is not working. It was not working yesterday. Today, it was not working. And also, yes, under Goodluck Jonathan, so on, and Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, at least it was manageable. But see, it wasn't working then. So it was not working at that point in time. Just that Nigeria was what a little bit what manageable. Now moving away from that, look at the next line. It said 4 years and not what a day. Okay, it said 4 years and not a day more than. Obi insists on single or term presidency. People can't they wonder. You don't say get one idea because I don't follow this issue of one term that Peter Obi has been talking about. I don't see what reasons where we say people give, where we say an individual need to be in the office for 8 years. But when you notice, say, based on the examples of the kind of leader we have seen, especially those who don't stay 8 years and without doing anything, you will see say some of their reasons not make sense. They will say in the year one, if in your first 4 years, you talk about appointing and making an appointment, looking at the government treasury in order to understand what they have and how to the funding, as in the amount of money left, how to run around, gather money in other infrastructure, study the economy very well. So as in before you go put things together, studying the economy, appointing your ministers, checking the kind of money, trying to source for funds, so on and so forth. That before you go run all these things finish, your 4 year don't finish, you no go fit do anything. And Peter Obi is here telling you that, look, somebody else can change it. That say it not work for other people doesn't mean it cannot work for him. Because if you check all the examples where they give, for all the people who don't their office for 4 years, for the whole 4 years, tell me what happened. 8 years, I mean to say. You get any changes where they make? Because most of the office where we say some of those leaders on there for Nigeria is almost equivalent to 4 years because even after those 8 years, they don't still do anything reasonable. Here, Peter Obi will speak.
The point that Mr. Kwankwaso himself made on politics today when he said that there is a pact that you will only serve out 4 years if you win the election. Did you have an agreement to that effect?
I've said this thing several times, Shehu. We have what you can call a written agreement. We're gentlemen, we must respect it. I don't need for more than 4 years to show the path Nigeria will tread. It is a simple thing.
Was it written? Did you sign an agreement with NDC?
It is NDC demanded that everybody, I preach it. So even if you want me to sign it with you, I sign it with you. It doesn't bother me. A day more than 4 years, not P2P. I want us to start trusting our leaders. So when I was
And they got one revelation because I've been asking, try to understand this ever since when they talk about this 4 years. Now, you say it's a written agreement in NDC, sorry, that anyone serving under NDC must serve only 4 years. That is to tell you that even Kwankwaso, if P2B and Kwankwaso eventually win for the office, that even Kwankwaso himself must only serve 4 years. Because you see, all these things Nigerians not they discuss. Even when they have been hearing this idea that P2B say he will serve 4 years, but I know the hear people talk much about that. Look, under NDC, they said that nobody will serve more than 4 years, and that is it. Even the APC, that's why yes, APC they talk about this 1 term, 6 years, 6 years, as in 6 years of leadership. That's 1 term for 6 years. Because the years of P2B, they discuss more, and there's every possibility for P2B to win. And if they win, the NDC begin to do this for 40 years. And the only thing is that make, in case if they eventually win, Nigeria should understand that it is what a written agreement by NDC so that the next person after P2B will not change it. And you notice also, and this idea where we say even what is it called, APC, they are trying to do right now, try to also change their own to 6 years. You see, because they are beginning to understand where the trending is going. Because they know say this idea of 8 years, as it's not working. You can see like Ghana right now is that like Ghana is in a that should be 5 years, 5 years for any president in Ghana. That's the reality. 4 years is enough for any leader to do what they want. Any leader will not fit one for 4 years. That means it's not capable of ruling Nigeria. Because we don't experience the 8 years. It's no work. Cameroon, their leader, this Paul Biya, he has been ruled Cameroon for over 40 years. What happened? Nothing. So all this idea that you need to rule 8 years, if your 4 years is not enough for you, move out, let somebody else rule. Now in Britain right now, Britain in the space of there should be 20 or 10 years now. How many leaders they don't get? Because they are looking for somebody that has the ability, the capacity to change the country. That is what Africans should be pursuing. Not to somebody who will stay in the office. You want to stay 8 years, 8 years with nothing. And yes, Peter will be telling you that is what he can do. The next, like I said, the next topic that they discuss, Peter Obi said, this is what he said. He said, okay, President Bola Tinubu is tired. Remember that comment. You can understand this one. I draw the attention of the Nigerian. President Bola Tinubu is tired. He should be allowed to retire in peace and go home and rest, says Peter Obi. The Bola Tinubu that was the governor in Lagos State is not the one who is now president. He is leading us nowhere. He doesn't have the capacity to do the job. And that is the truth. Now, let's hear Peter Obi.
Why do you think that you need only 4 years? Because there are those who policy and governance experts who have said your definition of 4 years or your stance of just a moment, sir. Your first budget is not your own. The second budget you will Bola Tinubu, or this is just a sheer policy goal that you have set out for yourself.
You can change and put and start driving this vehicle called Nigeria in the wrong direction in 6 months. We are headed in the wrong direction now.
As it is right now.
Yes.
Bola Tinubu is leading us nowhere. That's your.
You can see it. That's why people might say I call for his resignation. That's why maybe I'm calling for his retirement.
You notice I calling on Bola Tinubu to, let me clear you. It takes only a blind man or deaf man not to understand that Bola Tinubu is tired, like Peter Obi said, and he's fed up with the job. The man just did there. Now, I clear one thing. So if you share the people, the appointment, the ministers, them, ambassadors where Bola Tinubu they appoint, I check how all of them what they do for all their position. My guy go no say, yeah, this man is tired. You don't even know people to appoint anymore. Bola Tinubu don't know what to do in Nigeria anymore. Because the problem in Nigeria is too big. Here when Peter Obi, there's one of the interviews, maybe it's on this line of interview, when he was talking about working with governors. Let me tell you, for you to fix Nigeria, you need to start from the micro level. The micro, when Nigeria, they push, it will not work. You see, these are medium and small businesses. Now, they boom an economy. Now, when small and medium businesses don't do the country, now multi-billion companies go to enter the country. Because let me clear one thing. If you're setting up a multi-million-dollar company or billion-dollar company in Nigeria, you must make sure say they are in domestic market that they will consume those your goods as in domestically before exporting. Okay, look at one example now. In case before you argue me, imagine what Dangote did. When Dangote started his business, he began to fight to make sure say Nigerians are buying his petroleum first before even exporting. Because you need to first of all dominate your local market. And if you're small and medium businesses, no day, I want to dominate. Let's say you are into textile mill, you are into production of clothing in Nigeria. You're a foreign company. You first of all make sure say there are people to buy those things in Nigeria. There are small business, not private, not individuals. Because you and me as an individual, I know if you go come inside factory to buy one shirt. In these small medium businesses, people will say they say small business, we go buy those clothes in so many from the factory and begin to distribute it all over the country. That is what every one nation need. Now, all those things that they look, that's why you see is that any economy where they move, now small and medium businesses, you need in that country first. Now, in order for there to be those SMEs in Nigeria, you need, as a president, you need to work with the governors. Because the major problem we they face in Nigeria is governor. And did you know where God blessed Tinubu? God will give them 31 governors out of the 36 governors, which means he can easily call them together, have a conference call with them on daily basis on how to fund SMEs in Nigeria, how to empower people. to make sure that SMEs is moving, small medium businesses is moving. Then I think they work at the macro level. They attract multi-billion companies. They go to come because they say yes. If I set up my company in Nigeria, that there are small what businesses that will be help me to distribute those my goods to the final consumers. But in Nigeria, nothing like that. Even people where they manage before you go even rent shop in Nigeria, so you don't suffer. If you manage buy goods before you go sell in Nigeria, it's so hard. But state government can help reduce those. State government can help reduce shop rent in Nigeria. They will help reduce how people they struggle to get funding in Nigeria, not federal government. Which means for you to be a successful leader, that thing when they say macro, you need to leave macro aside and work with what micro. And micro is state governors, chairman of local government and councillors. They are the micro. Not that thing when they work with, say, central, working with central bank, minister of finance, this and that, or yeah, so on and so forth. Not be so. Peter Obi understand all this. And he stated the fact. He mentioned it in one of the interview when he started that you will work with the governor, no matter the political party where they be. Now look at the next point that they address. He said, I will change the north. I have an idea of what is happening in the north, and nobody can drive the process in Nigeria better than me. I will work with them and ensure the unity, security, and prosperity they are with what they desire are what achieved, says Peter Obi. Hear him.
Because that this is probably not about Peter Obi, because any person that understands the Nigerian history from the Civil War to the post-Civil War would think or imagine that we have not totally healed. And there is a segment of this country that have not been fully integrated in terms of the politics of this country. Whether or not an Igbo man can become president of Nigeria, do you think that we have moved away from the Civil War syndrome and we have totally healed such that an Igbo man like Peter Obi from Anambra State, an Onitsha man, will one day become Nigeria's president?
That is the beginning that is the foundation of the healing. And that is where you start to build the momentum and build Nigeria.
And why
would be that is the beginning. So a P2P presidency will commence the healing and the unity that is required to stabilize and build a better Nigeria. As I said, a new Nigeria is possible.
How do we?
Because everybody will be inclusive.
How do we deal with the Kaduna Insegbu tagged coup? Because that seems to have been a major wound that a lot of Nigerians still don't think that they can trust an Igbo man to become president.
At any particular point in time, know that you cannot be trapped in the process of yesterday. Those who are trapped in the process of yesterday must meet the future. There must be a time to know that we are the same. We must come together. Yes, we have a history, but we must not be trapped in it. It must not deprive us tomorrow. Those who are trapped in the process of yesterday and today will miss tomorrow. I want to drive this country to tomorrow. I want the child of Nigeria to be able to grow up in Nigeria, go to school, live his life without thinking about his tribe, without thinking about.
So this issue of tribalism that is, I know so many coups happen in Nigeria after this Kaduna Zogu coup. So many coups, both Buhari, so on and so forth, Murtala Mohammed, where are they? Name them. Because coup of happened under this that should be first prime minister of Nigeria. Then after that, how many coups happen in Nigeria? We say they no trust an Igbo man. Now, Igbo man with a business mentality that can revive Nigeria. If it is the work of an Igbo man to change Nigeria, I continue to deprive an Igbo man of being the president of Nigeria. Imagine where they go. Imagine how they say, how when Nigeria done it, how they can't fuck off with a full nation, they fuck up. Now, what happened between Kaduna and Zogu and Alhaji, is it Tafawa Balewa, right? That is the name. I think that's the first prime minister of Nigeria. That's Alhaji Tafawa Balewa. Now, that thing happened for what? That should be more than 40 years ago. And even when the Civil War happened. But you notice with all the people who don't rule Nigeria, nothing has been working. So if it is the work of P2B to repair this country, to put this country to the direction where it's supposed to go, and somebody is telling you that because of the first coup that happened in Kaduna and Zogo, and Tafawa Balewa, remember after the first coup that happened between the buy of Kaduna and Zogo, other coup don't happen. So many other buying of leaders don't happen in Nigeria. That is not even coming from Igbo man. Then the civil war happened. Nigeria is still where it is today. Imagine saying that the work of an Igbo man, where they deprive Igbo man, real Igbo man. Remember, because tomorrow now, they go deprive P2B from being the leader of Nigeria. Tomorrow, they go find one Igbo man where not even have the capacity to serve. And making the president, they go say, when I don't see him, the Igbo man don't serve. Now I can see the Igbo man not fit do anything. No. Because that might happen in the near future. You go see them. They will just find one an Igbo man where they not say no go fit do anything. No. They go push and enter that position. They will say, now you have an Igbo man. Let's see what Igbo man can do. Now we have an Igbo man that has the capacity to fix the country. And they are, telling us history of Kaduna Zogo with the Tafawa Balewa civil war, this and that. Those things don't happen. And here the Igbos are now in Nigeria. The Igbos, we're in Nigeria. And Igbo man have a business or mindset. Igbo man have the ability to enter forest where there's no building, no business, and start up business there. Everything will start booming. Yeah, you have P2B. Tomorrow they will just fight because that will be the idea. Tomorrow now. P2B might not be able, if P2B not succeed in winning, before you know, they will just find an Igbo man and fix there. They will tell you that yes, that now you have your Igbo man. What can he do? No play that kind of gamble in Nigeria. Now look at the next side. Like, okay, I say I know what it takes to unite Nigeria. I think that is the same headline. Let's see.
I was there before he left office.
Yeah, so just, he was exiting your turn coincided at some point. You were in office at some point when he also was in office. And he said, people should not look in your direction because you will divide Nigeria, that you do not have what it takes to unite Nigeria. How do you react to such a statement?
So that's directly opposite of what I would do. I will unite Nigeria. And I know what it takes to unite Nigeria.
And what will that be?
Sheriff. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Alimudu Sheriff.
Alimudu Sheriff said it. If you look at my record, what he said is opposite. At the onset, while he was still governor, I was there at the onset of this Boko Haram issue. His own brother was killed. So I traveled to Borno State to condole him. When people don't want to go there, I went to Borno State. It's on record. So they've been flooding in Borno State. I went there, contributed about 50 million naira, visited the governor, visited the show of Borno, I visited IDP camp in Borno. I've been to most troubled part of the north, be it Katsina, Kebbi. I've been to Plateau up to 4 times, visiting the various affected communities when there's killing and everything. Spend time in IDP camp, help.
Now you can see this issue of P2B go divide Nigeria. This is now political or talking point. We saw this, later they keep on propagating, pushing it out there. All this narrative, and people keep on pushing. Now you can see say some of the things we say P2B the list, and some of them no saying do those things. But you know that it's politics. How deadly, how dangerous we say this game of politics be. You don't go hear anybody propagate, try to push up those narratives, things that he has done in the past, places he has gone. Now he's listing it for you to understand that this man is not the person that will divide Nigeria. Which Nigeria they won't divide? Nigeria is already divided. What Nigeria need is the unity. Because the country is divided already. Okay, they will tell you that they have northern Nigeria. Middle belt will tell you that they want even to break away from north. That you should stop calling that north. That what they are going through is not what somebody that's called a northern person should be going through. West the same thing, east the same thing. A country that is needed unity. All this talking about they are trying to tell Nigeria united. How is Nigeria united? Are they working together in order to fix the country? No. And they will tell you that Nigeria is united. These are some of the talking points they've been using, propagating. Now, this is the next thing. How How would you fix insecurity? This is the question from a show. He said, give us three things you will do to ensure security in Nigeria is dealt with. And this is what Peter Obi answered. I will not disclose it in the open, but I will be I will be far more committed. We will ensure our security architecture is far more than staffed and supported. Now, hear Peter Obi directly before going for more analysis.
How would you fix insecurity? Precisely, what exactly? Give us three things you would do to ensure that insecurity is dealt with.
First, I will not disclose it in the open, but I'll be far more committed. We will ensure that our security architecture is properly kicked, staffed, supported, and definitely the one that is open.
Now you can see where they talk about the issue of security. Nigerian security, notice that Bola Tinubu and some of all these leaders, since these insurgents and terrorism and kidnapping, so on and so forth, they keep on doing the same thing over and over. Nobody has done something different. Tinubu never do anything different from Buhari. People don't know. Now I see saying don't include more 2 divisions, more bones for the dog to ground. Nigeria has gone to the level whereby we keep on calling on this. We cannot say Nigerians. People know the 2 more party. Where we say Nigeria go move from reactive to proactive. Set up command and control centers all over the country. Begin to integrate Nigerians, citizens of this country, into the security. And now, I'll now give the law enforcement agency the power, the opportunity to do the law enforcement. Because people don't know, say the difference between security and law enforcement. In Nigeria today, all the law enforcement agencies in Nigeria, and then they do the work of security, and then they do the work of law enforcement. Now, what happened? This is law enforcement. Law enforcement is that when there's something going on in your location, you be the one to call command and control center. That is the security. Law enforcement officer will come and enforce the law. Find out what is happening. If it's a crime, they will make an arrest. Law enforcement agency, they not be which way so they go know where things happen every time. That's the work of security. Now the work of what? Citizens. It's high time that you need to change the security architecture in Nigeria, integrate citizens into the security, and so that things will change. Now this is the next headline. I will not tell Nigerians I'm going to give them a reliable or stable 24-hour electricity supply within 4 years. It is impossible, says NDC presidential candidate Obi, who added that why power would be a priority, he would not make unrealistic promises. And that is a fact. Let's see here.
The electricity challenge is a big deal. And without it, the manufacturing sector, even our society will not run well. Every presidential candidate over the last years have promised stable electricity, yet decades later, Nigeria still struggles. I'd like you to give Nigerians tonight a realistic timeline, not a political promise. How would you ensure that Nigeria will experience reliable, stable 24-hour electricity under a Peter Obi presidency, and how long will it take you to achieve this?
We will not give them, I will not sell them, I'm going to give them reliable,
stable 24-hour.
24-hour within 4 years is impossible. Because, Sheldon, if you want to build a power plant, it will take you about 4 years to build a power plant. If you want to improve our transmission line and improve it, it will take you a number of years. Same thing goes with all your distribution. But remember, I said within 4 years, we will be able to generate not less than 10,000, which we are doing today. We're generating more than 10,000, but we are not able to transmit that. I said we'll be able to generate not less than 10,000, transmit and distribute that. And we're going to do it by a variety of means. We're going to do it through variety of means. They're doing it everywhere, all over the world. Embedded power.
You went to Egypt.
Yes.
The lessons that you taught, what specific thing would you do in the first
let me
get into office?
Let me give you an example of what Geometric is doing in Aba. You need to replicate that in different areas. In Kano, for example, where you have a problem with power generation.
Now you can see where he's giving an example of Aba. The same thing in terms of security. An example in Enugu. As they go from Enugu is a building command and control center, even though say they never integrate them into what? Into the citizens for the citizens to begin to use them. Because one thing is to set up those things, as in set up control command and control center and integrate the citizens to using it. That is the same thing with what issue of what energy, electricity in Nigeria. Now Nigeria is generating enough light, but they are not what transmitting it, which means a leader of this country need to work on how to what transmit the already what generated what electricity in Nigeria. And this is telling that it might not give you 24-hour steady light, but you will have to what do something. One, disintegrate, as in decentralize energy generation. That's because that's why now they have done it. Tinubu have done it, but they have not even what set up as in make it more aware, set up enforce and also sponsor people as in making a way that people will invest. Now also have to find a way to transmit what the already what generated what electricity. That's what Peter Obi is telling you here. Then the next headline say how I will handle the issue of what subsidy. I would have handled the issue of subsidy removal. This is him explaining.
Many economists have argued that subsidy removal and exchange rate reforms were unavoidable. Mr. Obi, how differently would you have implemented it?
And I campaigned that I will remove it. And I've said it every day, that within the subsidy, there was a criminal or corruption side of it, which you needed to eliminate in order to know the actual subsidy and go about in a gradual, organized removal and replacement with investment in other areas. By the way, we're still paying that subsidy. From what is happening now, they just called it a different name because they're now talking about
Remember, it get one day when me and person they argue. Why they tell us Nigeria we are still paying subsidy? They don't understand me. One day why they tell us say Nigeria not they pay subsidy. Say price of fuel go down high. This man almost the man almost fight me that day. For one hotel where we are sitting with them, we are talking. I said, Mr. Man, look, he say government not they pay subsidy today. Say price of fuel, wait till they buy a knife for don't pass like that. He supposed to pass like that in Nigeria. He said, hey, but you are producing, which oil are you producing? Your oil, what would that exchange for borrowing and projects? And they try to say, this man, where if he noticed that all over the price of crude, he said you are producing in Nigeria. No. As they also explained that, look, the price of crude oil all over the world, especially where this Iran, US, and the Israeli conflict. The price of crude oil don't increase at the dollar rate, which means Nigeria, the same thing in Nigeria. But why not this thing still there low? Because they are paying the subsidy till today. Now this Peter Obi confirmed because I don't know how that man is still following my platform. He will watch it, and I say truly because in the claim saying be obedient, which means so don't watch this interview. When I say look at it, if you see that the way price of things, you go not say government they are paying what subsidy because so we don't climb past like this. How this way they deceive? So they will tell say the Dangote don't want to add their price in all this. Nigerians they deceive. Why not climb since we say subsidy is still there? They are not calling it another name, and they are borrowing to pay those subsidies. That might be the worst part with all these things.
7 trillion on the recovery or upon recovery or whatever name they call it. So they actually still doing something that nobody can imagine. Even when the fuel has gone up 7 times.
If you win,
these are the things I'm talking about.
If you win the presidency in 2027, will you change it around?
No,
these policies will you change them?
I will change them.
You will keep it.
But let me tell you, I will be able to be honest to the people. If our fuel is going to increase from say 200 or 300 to 1,000, I, who is elected, not via spokesperson, not via any other channel, will come out and say, this is why.
So not much to much explanation. Now, in case that man, when we argue this thing, I will tell you that you don't look. This is a simple economist. We know where price of fuel climb. We go just notice that Dangote go tell you one day say, is running in losses. In this country, somebody that spent 20 billion building refinery, and all these importers of fuel, they are just telling you that they are selling in a loss for fuel where they carry enter Nigeria, and people they believe all these things. Look, let me tell you, I know I'm an economist, but not everything will be saying you need to go to school to understand. See where the price of fuel be and where it was supposed to be. You notice that something is going on somewhere. It's not because those individuals they get good heart. You notice that Dangote overnight don't wake up, he don't become good person, begin to sell it under in loss. Person when we eliminate every what importers to make sure saying recover the 20 billion. Wait, they build refinery. Go tell saying they run his business in loss. That is cutting money, that is not adding money, even where price of fuel has even tripled or quadrupled. Nigerians, we need to wake up. Thank God that P2B is confirming it now. But that is it. That is Nigeria for you. Like I always say, if this is your first time coming across my platform, please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share.